Mr. Debashish Banerjee, Managing Director, CSE Kolkata. He's an electrical engineer with proficiency in business management, having rich and diverse industry experience. He has started his career from Arriva and moved on to Crompton Greaves and Schneider Electric, heading business operations in utilities, industry, and dealer domain. So with that, over to you, Mr. Banerjee, for a special address for the inaugural session.
Yeah, very good morning to all of you. And thank you very much, Reena, for the introduction. I've been associated with ISGF for a long time, previously in my capacity from Mumbai and now from Calcutta. And yes, ISGF does need all those appreciation for the great work it has been doing, especially in the evolving trends and disruptions which are coming up in this sector. So as India, strives to be a $5 trillion economy by 2024 and 25, power and electricity per se is going to play a great role, because it is said that in one of the studies that every 1% increase in electricity consumption boosts the real GDP by about 1.72%. Now, if we look at the achievements of the country, yes, we have moved a lot in this journey, and from a power shortage to a power surplus country. The installed capacity and now has over a quarter of the renewable, generation coming in a total capacity of about 390 gigawatts. The renewable is about just over 100 gigawatt. And we are aiming to achieve about 450 gigawatt of RE capacity by 2030. So in this phase, India has done about 99.99% electrification of the household, and the per capita consumption has gone up from 465 kilowatt hour in 1997 to about 1208 kWh in 2020. Now, what happens that more and more growth and more urbanization calls for more and more use of electricity. So we are now synchronized with one nation, one grid, and one frequency principle, which is the overarching factor. And today we are the cusp of inflection in terms of that. If I may call it, that it is utility 3.0. We are thinking of maybe utility 1, if I can state as the unbundled time, utility 2.0, where bundled time, utility 1.0 is bundled, utility 2.0 where GTD was unbundled and generation was delicensed, and the Electricity Act amendment came in 2003. So we are now, or the DISCOMs or the distribution companies are having a traditional shift, and it may go forward with a business that only sells kWh to a business that sells user experience, with more and more electric devices and assets leveraging digitalization will transform the commodity supplier to being a customer aggregator or customer integrator. If I look at the mega trends which are impacting this segment, I would call it the 5 Ds. The first D is the digitalization, followed by deregulation, decarbonization, decentralization, and disaster management. Now, if I start with digitalization, which is the biggest disruptor, digitalization and technology taken together, it has actually changed the profile of the distribution companies and the way we distribute power to our consumers. In a sense, coming up right from the predictive maintenance and conditioning monitoring, it has come up to the sensor-based IoT Industry 4.0 technology. So whether it is a drone which monitors and does thermal imaging of the transmission towers or outdoor yards, or it's a pan-tilt camera which does it, or the IoT-based sensors which are embedded in the various, the electric network infrastructures like water level, humidity, temperature, etc. These all stream real-time data onto the system, and in the head-end system there is a data analytics which goes on. So it is a predictive maintenance where the distribution company comes to know what is going to happen. If we're going to fail, we better act to it before, so that we keep our assets in the best of health. And whenever I talk about all these technologies, we at CSC are doing each of them, and that's what I'm taking up. Then comes the immersive technologies. Immersive technologies like extended reality has been implemented for remote troubleshooting and for training on the protection system, thus enhancing the restoration as well as the training safety aspect to training. The mixed reality has come up where the digital twins have come up, where what can happen is that we can make maybe the relay which has tripped due to some fault at the remote place and maybe at the end of the night somewhere. We can assess that on our mobile phones, and we can look at what has happened and do the necessary setting and resetting and turn on the power. And that is a great job which can be done remotely. With this all makes decision making coming to the edge, with the workforce being more empowered, and the company becoming more agile in delivering the higher and higher expectations of the customers. Now, coming to the customer services, which we have felt more and more, the digital services during the pandemic has really, helped the consumers and the distribution companies to interact with each other. So if I call it a high touch customer experience for a no touch world, where we were saying during the pandemic, and obviously which is ongoing, that the customer need not come up to the offices of the distribution company. They can assess all our services digitally on through the platforms. And these platforms are the platforms of the chatbot, which was previously chatbot, now WhatsApp bot, and maybe going towards voice bot. These all digital platforms are so very well used by the customers for the other services that they feel easy, that they can access our services from at their fingertips, from the safety of their homes and offices. And all the AI ML enabled WhatsApp bot makes the experience, learning experience better and better, and it helps both the consumers and the distribution companies. The next part I would talk is on data analytics. Data analytics is really creating the potential to further enhance operational efficiency and giving a better customer service at an optimized cost to serve. So, we have been developing and working on this. This is a journey. This is not a destination. But we have been doing AI ML analytics on cable fault, HT cable fault prediction, for understanding if there are any low voltage areas which is surrounding there, on power transformer health indexing, and also for the sentiment analysis of the consumers to have a better understanding of them through the social media and through the other media that they interact with us. Now, if we look at when we make as we go forward, how do we make our utility a little more, automated? One is the process automation. There could be many processes which are manual, and those processes we have tried out to shift to process automation. In fact, robotic process automation. And to that we have we are trying our new connection to be done through that on the manual part of that, and slowly expanding to the other areas. So that was RPAs. And going forward in the field, it is workforce automation, when the workforce gets everything on their mobile app, and then they attend a customer call through the GPNS enabled crew, and they get their customer services done, and put it right on his mobile phone, update on the mobile phone. But all this obviously brings in a vulnerability in terms of cyber security. Actually, every DESCOM and we ourselves also are creating out audit of our generation and transmission system to mitigate the critical infrastructure risk in critical infrastructure in connection to cyber threats, and ring fencing our power systems through various processes, including firewalls, etc. The second D is the deregulation, which is poised to come up anytime, and this deregulation will usher in competition, and the otherwise monopoly business would they would be opened up to competition, and the consumers will get more and more chance to have better services at an optimized cost. There are private utilities which are, working across the nation, in the metropolis and in other places, and they have been able to achieve, good amount of operational efficiencies, minimal T&D losses, and deployment of cutting edge technologies. And these all would help them spread the knowledge or spread the application to other areas which are going to be privatized in the future, so that the customer gets a better experience, better service. Or the smart meter is going to be, the AMI is going to be a major, the upgradation of the AMI or the scalable of AMI is going to actually, change the way we do business. But we would like to state that if we need to take a better, leverage of this AMI, and especially from the consumer standpoint of view, I think they should be incentivized with a time of use tariff, including the residential consumers, because that would incentivize them to use various home automation, etc., and shift their peak load to the off-peak periods, which would in turn help the distribution companies flatten their peak and reduce the gap between the peak load and the average load, and thus optimize on their capex. Now, coming to the next part of the mega trend, decarbonization and decentralization is happening, and the whole world veers towards net zero. Climate change is the thing which is the transforming part which is happening, and which has been more and more reinforced at the COP26 held in Glasgow, where India has pledged to be net zero by 2070. So in this, we understand with this coming up, mode of decarbonization and then net zero climate changes, to combat climate changes. 5 major groups of technologies would attract $1 trillion of investments. They would be in the electrification part and the power part of the grid. So more and more battery control software, efficient building systems, and industrial agriculture would come in, other than use of hydrogen and carbon capture technologies. We, like all other utilities, have embarked on a journey to be a more sustainable utility. And in that, so we have created hashtag Live Free, Breathe Free, where we are priming the electric vehicle systems by working towards ensuring that how we create the infrastructure for providing electric vehicle charging. And Calcutta is doing great in terms of that. We are also migrating our fleet and testing it from the conventional vehicles to electric vehicles, especially the e-bikes and the four-wheelers. We are also working towards electric cooking, transforming the electric cooking to do a positive impact on that. So with this, we are working on microgrids like every other distribution company, and also implementing battery storage at a smaller level, and have done it at a smaller level, so that more and more we can get improve the voltage profile, reduce the frequency improve the frequency management, and as the more and more renewable power comes up, how we can have the agility to integrate our system with this renewable system. We are planning to going up a grid scale storage. And in this factor, let me tell you that we are also trying out a POC on a blockchain technology, on a peer-to-peer trading, where there would be prosumers, users, and they will be having various sources of power from various maybe solar rooftops, maybe storage, etc. How can we build a platform for them, so that we elevate ourselves from plain vanilla distribution utility to being a system aggregator.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Banerjee. Mr. Kapoor is also waiting to go
I've done it.
meeting.
I'm just coming to the end. There's the last part. Please give me 2 minutes. And finally, the disaster management, which is now hitting everybody around the climate changes. More and more disaster management is happening. So we, like every other year, we are, working to improve our forecasting models and the network resilience so that we will see that how our outage does not happen and our consumers don't get interrupted. That was all what I wanted to share with you. And thank you for providing me this opportunity once again in this August platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Banerjee. And